Ligia, a brief role with limited impact. Ligia, the Monarch of the Beginning and the King of Giants, had perhaps one of the briefest appearances from the many powerhouses of his class. Ligia is about twice as tall as the average man, as you'd expect from the Giant King, with a shaggy beard, messy hair, and blue-gray skin. The man has clearly seen better days. As a monarch, Ligia was no pushover and was one of the primary threats to the rulers, but he was captured by them and bound till the present day after the death of the Absolute Being, the only monarch to be so. The rulers also implanted an essence gem on his neck to help the human world be reinforced with his mana. Like we've said, Ligia hasn't really had much of an appearance, so his stats aren't as well known as other monarchs. What we can say for certain though is that his mana level is absolutely immense. The guy was single-handedly infusing the world with mana, which is the reason the Earth didn't immediately blow up from Sung Jin-Woo's battles. We know for certain that he's way stronger than an S-rank hunter, since even his gate was able to keep them out. His strength is immense and explains the powerful chains binding him. The most notable aspect of his skills is that he is able to cast a unique magic called Pledge of Trust, which prevents both parties from lying to each other. The other notable trait is his spiritual body manifestation, which allows him to take on some sort of the true form that emphasizes what he's king of. As for the weaknesses, well, the guy was basically spent to nothing when we saw him. He's been drained and chained for a long time and didn't make for a good trickster when he tried to ally with Sung Jin-Woo, who killed him in one strike. The fact is that he's rather hard to measure up to now because we haven't seen him in his prime, and he doesn't have a vessel in the human realm, limiting his power. Still, even a broken monarch is not a lightweight. Tarac, a sort of Draco Malfoy-like character in Solo Leveling, Tarac is the monarch of the Iron Body and king of the humanoid monsters. From the slicked back hair to the white outfit and coat cape, everything about the man screams condescending, and his disdain for humans certainly doesn't help. Tarac showed up with the other monarchs in an attempt to finally finish their eternal feud with the rulers. The guy has a bit of a superiority complex, finding humans to be beneath his notice, which is why Sung Jin-Woo's existence bugs him to no end. However, he does have the tactical intelligence to know when he's outclassed and never fought the guy. As for abilities and powers, Tarac is immensely strong and can easily wipe out most S-rank hunters, and has a level of mana that most beings couldn't comprehend. After eons of battle against the rulers, Tarac has acquired a lot of experience in fighting and strategy. As for some more unique skills, Tarac differentiates himself from the other monarchs with his telepathy, which allows him to mentally communicate with his fellow monarchs. His method of battle involves the Iron Body technique, and his spiritual body manifestation allows him to awaken his sort of true form. In his case, it's a monstrous humanoid golem, but he's still on the weaker side. He proved his limitations when he allowed his arrogance to take over by attacking Thomas Andre and falling for an ambush against Beru and Belial, resulting in his death. Still, it took 3 of the toughest characters in the series to finish him off, a feat few could match. Yogamont. Now we have the Monarch of Transfiguration and the King of Demonic Specters, Yogamont. He looks like your typical geezer, but beware the drip. His tattered cloak, bone mask horns protruding from the back, and red blob on his chest let folk know they're dealing with a real freak of nature. The man served as the sort of lackey to Antares, but had quite a bit of pride for himself and even more distaste for humans. He was one of the beings bringing Antares' force to Earth and often relayed messages to the Dragon King on what was going on. He was never beaten in Final Battle Arc, but in the epilogue when Sung Jin-Woo did that weird time travel thing. Moving on to his strengths. The guy played at being arrogant but knows his limitations and has enough sense not to battle Sung Jin-Woo, claiming that he could never beat him. We know he's powerful since he's a monarch, but so far his most notable abilities are his levitation, which lets him fly around with ease, his spiritual body manifestation that grants him his ultimate form, and apparently his ability to create countless portals like when he did when he tried to summon Antares' army. He's proven his strength when he mocked Sung Il-hwan's attempt to kill them, and that guy could easily be the second strongest hunter in existence. But the thing to also remember is that he still lost. Despite his status, he was still susceptible to Sung Jin-Woo's Dragon Fear ability. Moreover, we didn't get to see him in his prime since the man had no vessel, which limited his capabilities, and Sung Jin-Woo killed the guy instantly in the epilogue. A strong start for the guy, but a dishonorable finish. Rakan, arguably one of the coolest looking among the monarchs. Rakan is the king of beasts and Monarch of the Fangs. His tall build, massive frame, wild hair, and fangs give him the vibe of a man who could snap into a beast in an instant. The fur armor he has lets us know the man has some skill in hunting. He's one of the earlier monarchs we see in the series, right after Jeju Island. He's also one of the monarchs whom we've seen really let loose. The guy is no joke in the power department, boasting immense strength, able to keep up with Thomas Andre while still holding back. His speed and reflexes are top-notch, keeping up with both Sung Jin-Woo and Thomas in battle. He could also take on an S-rank hunter's attacks without flinching, showing us just how tough he is. He also has some telekinetic skill that allows him to toss foes around with ease. His regeneration ability is peerless when he manages to heal his arm instantly when Jin-Woo chopped it off. A more unique skill of his is his power bestowal, which allows him to transfer some of his powers to a human capable of handling them, like he did with Suho. His spirit body manifestation is in the form of a giant wolf, and he can even choose to become a hybrid or only take in some aspects. His greatest feat would have to be when he managed to kill Sung Jin-Woo and beat down Thomas Andre while also dealing with several S-rank hunters. However, he proved his limits when Sung Jin-Woo awakened his monarch status and ran wavy only to be killed. Still, he's one of the few monarchs who really challenged our protagonist and one we should watch out for, Kesha. Now for the only known female monarch in the series, Kesha, Queen of Insects and Monarch of Plagues. Flowing black hair, red eyes, and some impressive assets. Kesha has the feeling of a powerful temptress, but her love for killing may set off some feelings, though she does show a surprisingly motherly attitude to her subjects. She, along with the other monarchs, ganged up to defeat Sung Jin-Woo before he could truly awaken, as well as finish the rulers off and end their eons-long conflict. Though her time in the series has been short, Kesha has shown why she's on the rank of monarch. For instance, her monstrous strength managed to make Sung Jin-Woo bleed with a single strike, and restrained Baru with ease. Despite this, her true skill is in her mana and magic manipulation, which she can use to create glowing green hands. She can use necromancy to control the dead thanks to her insect parasites. Moreover, she also has the Pledge of Trust spell, which allows her and another to speak to each other without being able to lie. Her regeneration is impressive as well, since she managed to heal herself in a matter of seconds after being cut in half. She also has the insect ability to spit out concentrated venom from her body, which could kill most people outright. Her own spiritual body manifestation grants her the body of an insect monster with all kinds of limbs and a swarm of insects that can transform into weapons for her. Despite this, she was easily beaten by Sung Jin-Woo, who she knew she couldn't handle, and accepted her death. Keep in mind this was likely because of Baru, the Ant King's presence. Her desire to get him to join distracted her and basically served the monarch on a silver platter for our protagonist. Who knows the danger she would have caused otherwise? Cyad. One of the more cunning members of the monarchs would be Cyad, Monarch of Frost and King of the Snowfolk. A muscle-bound elderly elf, Cyad already distinguishes himself from his cohorts with appearance alone, as his blue skin, white hair, and eyes give you the vibe of an old man with some fight left in him still. Like the rest of the monarchs, Cyad's mission was to wipe out the rulers, and it's one he's had some success in. The plan changed when he uncovered Sung Jin-Woo and the Shadow Monarchs' plan to betray him. Cyad showed his intelligence when he tried to get the other monarchs to join forces and kill Sung Jin-Woo before he became a true threat. Naturally, he failed. Still, Cyad is a powerhouse with strength that could surpass an S-rank hunter and push Jin-Woo to the brink in their second battle. He was fast enough to react and dodge all manners of attack and had the durability to handle any that landed. As for his abilities, his domain rests in ice, with magic that can create storms and blizzards with ease, conjure weapons of frost, and even make monsters. A more specialized attack would be his ice breath, which allows him to freeze anything in his path. His presence is powerful enough that he could knock out most humans around him with a single snap. His own spiritual body manifestation transforms him into a younger version of himself, becoming more elf-like and transforming his hair to be flame-like. Still, impressive as he is, what's with him and the other monarchs killing Sung Jin-Woo? They proved no match for his awakened self, and so ends a fearsome legacy. Baran. Now this guy may actually be the first monarch we encounter in the series, though we didn't know it at the time. Meet Baran, the Monarch of White Flames and King of Demons. This guy truly lives up to his title with his gray skin, giant giant horns and demonic features. The story is that we have never actually seen the real Baran in the series. Once a comrade of the Shadow Monarch, he died while trying to kill Ashborn, and the architect attempted to recreate the Monarch as a final boss for the Demon Castle. So keep in mind that the actual Monarch was leagues stronger than the copy. That said, this guy still gave Sung Jin-Woo the fight of his life. This guy's hits managed to keep Sung Jin-Woo on the defense as he staggered the man during the battle, all the while zipping around at lightning speed and taking on blows that would annihilate your average monster. As for talents, Baran has the Monarch's ability to summon his army of demons through portals and overwhelm Jin-Woo's own. The real kicker is his lightning breath, which the name makes it pretty clear what it does. It also has a stunning effect on its targets and can go from area of effect to single focus, giving it excellent versatility. Being a Monarch, he also likely has a spiritual body transformation. What is known is that Sung Jin-Woo nearly lost his life to the guy if it wasn't for a timely distraction by Isil Radiru, which allowed him to finish off Baran. Because of his defeat at the hands of Ashborn, we'll never truly know just how strong he was, but it's clear he was a threat, though not as great a one as our next monarchs. Ashborn, the King of the Dead and the original Monarch of Shadow. Ashborn is the catalyst that set off so many events that led to the story we have now. As the King of the Dead, you expect that guy to have all the edgiest designs molded together. Well, you're right, as the black armor, purple aura, and smoky cloak really give you the vibe of what an edgy 13-year-old wanted to make. Still, as a former ruler and now monarch, Ashborn is one of the most powerful beings in the series. He saw his death coming and designed an entire system to help ensure his successor could handle his power. And what a power it is, since the only one capable of rivaling it would be Antares, the big bad. His strength is without power, his speed is instantaneous, and his body is like a fortress. As for his personal powers, Ashborn has all the powers over shadows that we've seen, including shadow extraction, exchange, and even preservation, which lets him keep these guys in storage. More interesting power is his Umbra Kinesis, which gives him control over darkness, shaping it as he pleases. He also has all the classic Monarch abilities like Monarch Domain, which improves his shadow's base stats by 50%, and Ruler's skills like Ruler's Authority, which lets him use telekinesis. The power that caused so many of the game systems we see would be his power bestowal, that beings like him used to get vessels. However, no single human could manage his strength, which is why the system was created, and it gives you a clear idea of just how powerful he is. Despite that, there are those who can rival him, and one who can surpass him. Antares, the King of Dragons, the Monarch of Destruction, the oldest of the 9 monarchs and the strongest. That is who Antares is. As designs go, he's the most human looking. Tall man with long red hair and a god-awful beard, which does match his personality. Antares revels in destruction and carnage. The only one to ever give him pause was the Ashborn, which is what started the domino that leads to Sung Jin-Woo. Never forget that this guy's rank as monarch has always been considered the strongest, and it shows when he manages to hold his own against Sung Jin-Woo and even overpower him. He can move and react to Sung Jin-Woo's speed with ease, and was mostly unharmed by his attacks thanks to his toughness. If that's not enough, the man has some power abilities like the iconic Dragon Fear, a mana-infused shout that causes those weaker than him to panic and freak out. His specialization is fire magic, allowing him to create intense heat and flaming shapes limited only by his imagination. His breath attack could reduce S-rank hunters to ash, negate Sung Jin-Woo's defenses, and permanently destroy any of his shadows. His own transformation makes him into a monstrous dragon or dragon hybrid, basically Kaido from One Piece vibes. This man is as powerful as power can be, but he had one critical weakness. He was too arrogant. Despite knowing about the threat, he made no effort to gather forces to prepare for it, which led to his immediate defeat. That threat is, of course, the final entry on this list, Sung Jin-Woo, the protagonist of the series and the newest Shadow Monarch. You know who he is and what he looks like. quick. Recounting his tale is like repeating the whole story for you. Instead, let's get right to what a powerhouse he is. After an initial start with some risks and near-death experiences, Sung Jin-Woo transformed into a godlike being. There is no one faster, stronger, or tougher than this guy. After so much time with the system and its rules, Sung Jin's skills and powers have even evolved past Ashborn's. Besides the typical Shadow Monarch skills, he is a master of combat, can't age, and can even hypnotize and control the memories of humans. He is immune to all diseases and toxins, his regeneration can heal him from all but the most fatal strikes, and even if damaged to an extreme extent, he can just activate tenacity and reduce any damage done to him by 50%. He's acquired many powers from those he's beaten, like Dragon Fear, but listing every single one of his skills would be exhausting since the guy basically has every skill under the sun. The real kicker is that while his battle against Antares ended with him barely winning, Sung Jin-Woo's use of the Cup of Reincarnation turned back time, and he spent 10 years hunting the monarchs and growing so strong, he ended the Dragon King's life with only a burn on his hand as punishment. He is the protagonist of this series, and the reason for this once no-named loser to acquire the powers of a god is that his sheer indomitable will allows him to go beyond what a normal person is capable of for the sake of his family, and it is exactly why the Shadow Monarch chose him.